The battle for all the marbles, but in this case, the last playoff spot on the line here in our final game of the winter 2020 regular season, and it was absolutely fitting that we named this one our final regular season game of the week here at the TGH Iceplex North Rink, as it's the Gray Wolves taking on the Black Aces. Hi everybody, Angelo Pontello bringing you this broadcast action. Joining me as always is Clyde Roberts. And Clyde, it comes down to this between both teams, especially after the Green Hornets just fall short to the Blue Bombers in a shootout. Well, for the first time since the winter 2012 portion of the season, early days, call it the second season if you will, the Green Hornets will not be competing for an over 50 cup, and it just seems all too surreal right now, and it really captivates what has been a really awkward, weird time in these days and ages. Well, we look at the Green Hornets, and because of their loss, that gives the Black Aces every opportunity, just like the Gray Wolves. And it's very simple, folks. Win and you're in. For the Black Aces, with a win, they will clinch the number 4 spot and will face the Golden Knights next week. Gray Wolves, with a win, barring that they only get fewer than 4 penalties, will jump up to the 3rd spot after the Red Army fall to the Golden Knights earlier today. And for the Red Army, they will be determining which seeding they will be holding at the conclusion of this match, pending the result of our game of the week. And that all really comes down to why it is just that exciting when you look at the playoff picture for this Over 50 Hockey League for the winter 2020 campaign. For the first time in Over 50 hockey history, where it really comes down to all of the teams still vying for a chance to get into the Over 50 Cup. But the Green Hornets, now they are eliminated. Black Aces trying to keep their season alive, as are the Gray Wolves. Well, you look at some factors here already for the Black Aces. They are having a tall order if they're going to do this. So everything's going to be relied on this man right there, Doug Radigan, who has been the hero for the Black Aces as he comes up with a hat trick last week in their 5-3 win over the Green Hornets. Yeah, and it's going to be a tall order. Not very often does a team have to rely on this man alone. Hopefully he'll get some help from Steve Byrne. We'll see how the captain has made the lineups, only considering that there's 7 to 8 players right now for their ice. And speaking of the captains as well, Captain Steve Byrne for the Black Aces, captain for the Gray Wolves, Lou DeMeza, knows what's at stake here, so don't expect him to hold back. Oh, not at all, Angelo. When I look at the Gray Wolves between Lou DeMeza, Paul Delano, and Mike Rossi, I fully expect him to go with a lineup just as such on the 4 lines. There is a lot riding on the table right now. You don't hold back. And so that'll do it for our pregame report. When we come back, face-off just ahead, Gray Wolves and the Black Aces here on the Pontello Broadcasting Network. We're just moments away from face-off. Starting lineups first for the visiting Black Aces. At left wing is Doug Shepard. At center, Steve Byrne. Right wing, Doug Radigan getting the nod to move up at forward. And defenseman back, Bob Phillips and Scott Harrison. Starting lineup for the Gray Wolves, Michael Rossi at right wing, Lou DeMeza at center, left wing, and Mike Jackson with defenseman back, Paul Delano. Check that, Mike Falbo in at left wing, defenseman back Mike Jackson and Paul Delano. And our officials for today's game, Dave Collins and Ron Buckner, the top 2 officials in the Southeast region, and very fitting for a game that will have a lot at stake here today. Connor Bortz and Ashton Sloan are scorekeepers in the box, handling all the statistical duties throughout this broadcast. This puck to Rossi. Rossi looking for options, looking for Delano, but it looked like Jackson thought it came to him instead. Here comes Steve Byrne into the Gray Wolf zone. Byrne looking for options, knocked away by Delano. Radigan picks this one up himself. Looking for a dangerous opportunity early on. Steve Byrne with the backhander, knocked away by Clark. Puck taken away now by Lou DeMeza as he finds Delano on the near side. Delano just misses Jackson and it's coming back. Check that, no icing call there made, as it'll be taken away by Robbins. Robbins from Phillips backboards this one to Radigan. Check that, it's Dougie Shepard Pompos getting his first touch on the game as it gets out to Lussman. Lussman just out of the reach of Castigliola as this heads back into the black ace end, as Phillips winding this one away, taken away by Rossi, will quickly fire the shot, and this one off to the side of the net, rebounded by the defense. Shot bouncing off of Bourges, rebounded by Delano. Lost control of the puck. Shepard trying to get a handle on it, and it goes back over to Harrison. Scott Harrison in the neutral zone. It's 4-on-2 for the Black Aces. Harrison makes a nice move, fires, shot hits top shelf. Checked at the crossbar as this one hits the side of the net. And so play will halt immediately after that one. So rookie goaltender Robert Clark tending the twine for the Grey Wolves today. Clark, who has given up the most goals so far in this winter 2020 campaign in the league at 4.6, has a lot riding today. Well, there's no pressure there for him, but again, with a Black Aces team that's without Wayne Webster, Hartley McDonald, and Brett Gargis, it's going to be a fairly easier way to accomplish the defensive side of things and tending the net as the keeper. You know, and again, when two of those three players you mentioned, specifically with Wayne and Hartley, and they've have more than half of the goals scored for the Black Aces, it really goes to show you what their offense is all capable about and how much of a different team this Black Aces really are when you're missing those two players. Harrison biding his time, shot fired way off target as it gets out to Pompos. Radigan steps in front, has a good chance, lost the puck, back to Byrne. Lussman with possession for the Grey Wolves. This one bounced back, big chance for Harrison, looking to set up to Dougie Radigan, and this one taken away by Pompos. Grey Wolves coming into today's game at 5-6, looking to get to 6-6 to finish the winter 2020 campaign. Meanwhile, for the Black Aces, again at 4-7, trying to get to 5-7, still with a little bit of hope left to squeeze into the winter 2020 playoffs. Again, after starting the season at 2-3, they have a lot riding here today. Well, of course, and the fact that the Black Aces have been the bottom feeder all season, but they've done just enough to keep into the standings and keep themselves alive in the playoff race, it's simply spectacular. In past seasons, you've seen the last place team go 2-9 at this point, maybe no more than 3-8, but for the Black Aces, really making things all interesting, and especially with that win last week over the Green Hornets, really staying alive when it comes to the playoff race. Demeza pinned to the boards by Greg Bell as this one gets bounced back in the Grey Wolf zone. Jackson skating back quickly, Steve Byrne on him. This pass off the boards will go to Delano, and Delano off to the races far side, has an open lane. Delano working around Greg Bell, intercepted by Bob Phillips, and this will be taken back by Radigan. Here comes Steve Byrne. Byrne gets it around to Radigan, open chance here, fired shot, and Clark just makes the save there, and it looks like one of his pads came in the nick of time there. Great shot attempt there by Radigan, you see, just coming down the line, and then Robert Clark just in the right position at the right time. Radigan's shot, knocked back. This is Rossi on the near side looking for options. Open chance here for Steve Byrne, trying to locate the puck, shot fired, second hand effort, and it's knocked away by Clark. Oh, you've got to capitalize on those chances, and Steve Byrne once again, just a tad second too late, wide open. You can't gift it any better. That was a beautiful chance, and the Black Aces should have had that one. Delano takes this one away, finds Demeza, feeds it up to Rossi near side, back in the Black Ace zone. Rossi winds up for the shot, goes high and off the net. 7-11 in the opening period. No score here in our game of the week. Lots to play for both sides, as a playoff spot is at stake in the winter 2020 campaign. John Castigliola to be the man to take the face-off against Steve Byrne deep in the Black Ace zone. This is to Rossi. Pass back to Pompos. Pompos almost lost control, regains it quickly. Shot fired, knocked away by Borges. Rebounded by Castigliola. And Shepard gets a piece of it. Delano skating back quickly. Dougie Shepard racing with Delano, but Delano beats him out. And again, Dougie Shepard in just his second season really stepping up to the game right now. The way he speeds up, you just can't put a price tag on it. Doug Shepard just in his sophomore season here at the TGH Iceplex Over 50 Hockey League practically last year and his first season, winning an Over 50 Cup with the Blue Bombers squad, trying to keep his magic going, looking for a potential chance to return to the Over 50 Cup playoffs. And again, Dougie Shepard, we've seen him before, and we see the constant improvement he's made. He's someone that can keep up with even the superstars of the league. You know, what we see today, Paul Delano, he also has been known to keep up with Angelo Pontello, Omar Chikwon. So, I mean, the list is endless, but it just goes to show you that Shepard just has an added value to the Black Aces team when used properly. Bell swings it back to Radigan, far side. And this pass to no one, and this one's coming back for the icing call. So as we continue talking about the importance of this game, we look back at the Black Aces team looking for their first opportunity to get into the playoffs in the 6-team era, which began back in 2018. And for this Black Aces squad, the only time they've seen the playoffs was when it was just the 4 teams, when the Red Army and the Yellow Jackets, the Golden Knights squads took hiatuses from the league. And now, back into the swing of things, the Black Aces have just been practically cursed, just missing the playoffs every single time, despite 4 teams getting a crack at it out of the 6 teams in the league. Well, the Black Aces, it's a matter of keeping things going. They've had their chances in the past, but just unfortunate circumstances led them to early exits in the regular season and killing their opportunities to even join the rest of the teams in the Over 50 Cup playoff race. Now it all seems too surreal. This is a chance for them if they can get their act together. It might be a chance here. And already we've seen Clyde that even without Hartley McDonald and Wayne Webster on the ice, the Black Aces have been keeping even with a Grey Wolf squad heavily favored to win this matchup as Radigan skates around, denied by Demeza, looking for the quick setup to Rossi, and it goes to Borges instead for the stop. And so right now, Angelo, as we look back into this game, in the situation, this Black Ace defense needs to really hold their own here. And so far, between Greg Bell and Bob Phillips in the mix, that have been the primary stoppers here, it has just been that all too well. And then, of course, Scott Harrison, the third defenseman. As we can see, the Black Ace is going with 6 forwards and 3D here. Bob Phillips shot knocked down by Clark. This one taken away by Robbins. Now taken away by Delano. Paul Delano to the races. 2D back for the Black Aces. Delano trying to skate around Bell. Big chance here. Fired shot just off to the right side. Pauline Delano had a chance, but then again, the Black Aces, for what it's worth, just a tremendous job in containing Delano, limiting him to just a certain part of a shot range. Castigliola shot just off to the right side. Borges now back to Doug Shepard. Shepard to Phillips. Black Aces trying to get this one out. Mike Lilly now off to the races by himself. Lost control of the puck, regroups. Looking for Bell, but it's back in the Black Ace end where it's picked up by Falbo. Wound up shot by Delano, deflected by Phillips. Falbo looking for a big opportunity and shot into Borges. Rossi for the finishing touch, and it's a good goal. .336 in the opening period. The Grey Wolves finally break this one open, and it's Michael Rossi who puts it in first. Well, again, you look at that situation and really nothing you can do when it's just back in that place. The only thing I could say at that point, Angelo, was maybe the pass could have been a little bit better, the recipient pass to Greg Bell. But when you're just out of position, there's nothing you can do about that. And for the Grey Wolves, they happen to be in the right place at the right time. Grey Wolves leading it 1-0 here as they try to solidify a spot in the Over 50 Cup Winter 2020 playoff brackets that will begin next week. As this puck comes back to Phillips in the neutral zone. Phillips off the skate of Radigan. This one comes back in the Grey Wolf end. And Clark almost didn't get a handle on that one. It looked like he just let that one slide by. Well, that's not the first time we've seen Clark in that position where an unfortunate circumstance almost backfires in a negative way. But that time, just the direction of the puck, really not too much to worry about there. Backhander by Lussman, popped out by Borges, taken away by Phillips. Phillips gets around Pompos. Off the boards, intended for Byrne, out of his reach, and it's back to Castigliola in his own end. Jackson and Castigliola fighting for the puck, as this one gets cleared back to Bell in the Black Ace end. And so the puck sharply shot into the visitors' bench. And so play will halt with 2:01 in the opening period. Yeah, and again, give a lot of credit to this Black Aces team. From what the experts predicted, they thought the Grey Wolves would have had at least a comfortable 3-0 lead by now. You look at this Black Ace squad, they have just done a tremendous job in containing them as much as they can. Now, granted, with 8 players, depth might be a factor, but you also look at the Grey Wolf bench as well. They also have 8, but it really comes down to the better end of the talent. Radigan, open chance shot just off to the right corner. And you got to take advantage of that if you're Doug Radigan. Maybe take a little extra time to make sure you got a legitimate chance. A lot is riding on you from the offensive end. You got to make the most of it. And so Clark diving out to make the stop. And play will resume deep in the Grey Wolf zone. It'll be Arden Robbins taking the face-off against Lightning Lou. Mike Jackson in his own end, trying to get this one cleared away. Stopped by Bell. Check that. Bell couldn't get the stop. Now past Radigan, and this one skating all the way back in the Black Ace end is Scott Harrison. Harrison out to the sides. DeMeza trying to get it away from Harrison, but it comes back to Bell instead. This one to Jackson. Mike Jackson looking for an open shot chance, and it's Borges who sucks it in for the save. Stefan Borges, who enters this game giving up just 4.2 goals a game, the second most goals. And so that's where we come away earlier with the fact that when you look at this game and it's the goalies who have given up the most goals thus far in the Winter 2020 campaign, check, the sky's the limit practically. And you said it best, Angelo. It's one of those situations where, you know, at any point the game could get broken open. They've been known to give up a lot of goals, but right now, as I see the momentum play out, Angelo, it's really been quite the opposite. For the shot opportunities that have happened, I've been so far pretty impressed with both Robert Clark and Stefan Borges. You know, they've really haven't given up anything that is too crazy of a goal. Everything has been hard earned so far, especially with Rossi's goal. Off the stick of Rossi as it gets back in the Black Ace end, Greg Bell trying to find a teammate and find Steve Byrne. Tipped high by Rossi. Pending high stick, it'll be taken away by the Black Aces. This is Harrison back in the Grey Wolf zone. Harrison looking for a wraparound chance. Just out of the reach of Steve Byrne as it comes back to Bell in the neutral zone, who trips. And this one will be taken away by Delano. Only one defender back for the Black Aces. Delano's shot fired top left as time expires. Oh, that really unfortunate there for Greg Bell. Just, it looked like the ghost of Bobby all that time that just tripped him up. But for the Grey Wolves, almost a gift-wrapped opportunity to potentially extend the lead. But again, that shot went wide, top left by Paul Delano. And the Black Aces still very well in this game. First intermission has hit. 1-0 our scoreline, courtesy of a Michael Rossi goal. And we will be back for more action on the second period. You're watching Over 50 Hockey's Game of the Week on the Pontello Broadcasting Network. Second period just moments away in our Game of the Week. 1-0 our score line in favor of the Grey Wolves. Black Aces trying to stay in this one in a game that will determine the last playoff spot in the winter 2020 playoff picture. This one back to Paul Delano on the far side. Off the boards, connects with Falbo. Bell with the puck, taken up by Radigan. Radigan into the Grey Wolves zone, 2 defensemen back. Shot fired is low. Clark there to fall on it for the stop. And again, as we talk about the current offense there for the Black Aces, a lot to do with the performance of Steve Byrne and Doug Radigan if the Black Aces are going to get anywhere offensively today. Yeah, and of course, Steve Byrne, he's always been consistent with the offense. You know, he's somebody that will still set up plays. And again, with 5 goals and 7 assists on the season, you got to give credit to this man who is 70+ years of age. He finds ways to get involved in the offense and not just get involved, but make quite the production factor on this squad as well. Right now, when you got Doug Radigan as pretty much your primary weapon, you have to make the best of it. And Doug Radigan, don't joke around too much with him. Radigan averaging 1.4 goals a game. It's somebody you definitely don't want to underestimate. Well, that's part of the reason why he's just been a factor, and especially from last week, you give him the right opportunities, and a lot of teams really do underestimate his ability. You just give him, all you have to do is just give him the right players to play with. You know, even if it's like Steve Byrne, and just watch out for what Radigan can do. Puck goes back to Shepard. Bell trying to get to the puck first. Gets it away from Rossi as it's back to Delano. Demeza in the neutral zone finds Rossi heading into the Black Ace zone, far side. Rossi, pass back to Demeza. Lost control of the puck, taken away by Steve Byrne. And that's been one of the factors that have just been a little off consistency all season for the Grey Wolves, is they've had chances, but the finishing touches of it and the puck possession has not been the greatest so far in this winter 2020 campaign. And again, just there with Demeza, had a chance to do something with it, but just lost control. Rossi out of the reach of Falbo. Demeza shot fired off to the side of the net. Rossi with the rebound shot, just short. This puck stopped by Jackson, keeping it in the Black Ace zone. Phillips to retrieve it. And this one officially gets cleared out just past Shepard's reach, and it's going to be coming back for an icing call. 9:58 in the second period. Again, Grey Wolves hanging on to a 1-0 lead in a do-or-die game as our final game of the week for the winter 2020 season. And just again, it's one of those things where Black Aces just have to keep chipping away, have to find a way to continue to play defense, stifle Lou Demeza, Paul Delano's chances, as well as Mike Rossi, and you're very well into this game. Pompos. Lost bounce on the shot. Here comes Arden Robbins, 2-on-1 for the Black Aces with Mike Lilly. Shot fired by Robbins, kicked out by Clark. And that was actually a pretty good shot there by Robbins. Robert Clark had to do a little bit of stretching out for that one, but it was a good shot, great save by Clark. Intercepted by Castigliola, off to the races. will wind up for the shot, keeping it low. Borges knocks it away. Phillips trying to get to the puck. Castigliola beats him out. Lilly's pass off of Robbins. Pompos sharply trying to keep it back in, but it'll be cleared out by Lilly. And that'll give both teams a chance to get some fresh legs on the ice and perhaps a little bit of a breather. Well, really, you can't say a lineup change because, again, both teams have 8 players on each side, so it is practically substitution mode. But you look right now with the way this offense is developed, and it's got to be a rotation system for both sides. And again, when you have just 8 players showing up, the most logical thing in hockey to really establish is the lineup situations where with 8 players, you have to go 5 forwards and 3 D. You know, even if it was 9 players, you could afford to go 3 defensemen in that situation because the forwards, you still have a consistent lineup with just the 6 forwards and you just constantly switch them out. But anytime you get to 7 or 8 players showing up, it gets a little bit tricky, you know, and that includes the involvement of the centers as well. And so anytime you're in a situation like that, you just have to be keen on how you want to change up your lines. Delano. Knocked back. Lilly trying to gain possession of this one, and it's going to head all the way back in the Grey Wolf end. And so far, Angelo, it has been quite an opposite story. We haven't seen too much of Lightning Lou and Paul Delano as much on the offensive side as Rossi. His only offensive highlight so far today was just being in the right place by the net and tapping it in. Lightning Lou trying to find options, but is heavily pressured. And DeMeza is down as Pompos gets up. DeMeza is slow to get up, and we're not exactly sure if he might have re-aggravated a knee injury. Yeah, he's trying to defend himself off the boards there that time. You know, Black Ace is trying to pressure him a lot, but I don't know if it was a skate that gave out on him or just a hard crash into the boards. But especially at that situation, it's always tough to see an over 50 player down like that. And so the longtime over 50 hockey vet will be slow to get back to the bench, but it seems like he's moving his legs. And especially with playoffs on the line right now, it's one of those situations where as the captain of the team, you're still trying to hang in there for your teammates to show them that you are capable and you are strong to keep yourself well into this game. And even if it's at this situation, if DeMeza has to just take a step back just slightly and maybe pass it a little bit more to his teammates and not go for those rush opportunities, you know, it's one of those things where for the Grey Wolves, they can't afford to continue this game without DeMeza, but at the same time, Lightning Lou needs to realize that even if he tries to push it too hard, should the Grey Wolves make it to the playoffs, they're going to need his services when they go up against any opponent in the playoff tree. Rossi shot bouncing off of Borges and hits top shelf. And again, just a quick shot there by Michael Rossi, doing what he does best. Just an unfortunate handling there by Borges as it kicks up, and just the unfortunate bounce to hit just the top shelf, right where your dad hides the prescription pills. And for that, the Grey Wolves are up 2-0. 7:46 in the second period as this one gets back to Pompos. Burn back from Lilly. This is Jackson to Delano. Pompos. This one heads back in the Black Ace ends, and it'll be taken away by Greg Bell. Bell by Rossi, can't handle it. This is Shepard. Lilly in the neutral zone. Taken up by Delano, and they'll dump it back in the Black Ace end. So Pompos regroups. Back to Delano. Castigliola. Shot fired, knocked down by Borges. Castigliola picks up his own rebound. And it's Delano, shot high. And again, Paul Delano's shots today. I know he's been a little bit rusty, as is most of the players, as this is just the second week back after the coronavirus pandemic. But again, it just looks like at this point in time, Delano just seems to be slightly off his game. It's not his best game right now, you can tell. Very comparative to the season he's had so far. Well, Delano does enter this game with 8 goals and 5 assists on the season, and the fact that he's switching back and forth as the utility man definitely helps in favor for the Grey Wolves, because he has shown time and time again of his shooting abilities. But for a guy who's been primarily a defenseman in this league, it just seems a little off-putting how he's been missing some of the shots. Well, again, a defenseman's not expected to play like a forward. You have to remember too, Angelo, that we have seen all these 5-ranked players practically forced back to play defense, because in this over 50 hockey league, there are more forwards than there are defensemen. The only time you really see true forwards at that 5-ranked position, Omar Chikwon and Dave Wachowiak. Everyone else has to play back at defense, because that's just all they can afford to do. And getting back to the situation with Delano, you see right now he's getting back into the swing of things, but we're not sure yet if he's going to make some offensive impact. And so they'll swing around, skate around Bob Phillips, but that doesn't help his cause, as this one's going to be called for a hooking. Yeah, talk about unfortunate situations. That's not exactly... And I think the reason why Dave Collins ended up calling Delano on that hooking call was the fact that Bob Phillips was also spinning around as well. I mean, the way the skate happened, I mean, it's up in the air. It's the right call to make at the end of the day, but still, it really didn't have that much of an impact on Phillips and the puck possession. So first power play of the game, belonging to the Black Aces, who desperately need this one, trying to get back as they trail 2-0 to the Grey Wolves with 5:20 in the second period. Yeah, now it's a matter of you're playing one man down, and if I'm the Black Aces right now, you need to try to come up with a little bit more of an offensive plan. Take your time. You got Steve Byrne and Doug Radigan on the ice right now. Don't force it. Just work with one another and make a play. Byrne just missing the finishing touch as it's taken away by Rossi. Rossi biding his time. He'll take this one himself into the Black Ace zone, looking to set up for a shot attempt. Pass all the way back to Jackson. For the Grey Wolves right now, it looks like they're playing a little more of the keep-away style, and probably a smart thing to do. Well, it doesn't give the Black Aces any opportunity to set up when you're playing keep-away as such. You know, even with the line they have right now, you could afford to potentially go out and score another goal, but you're up 2-0. Why take that chance? Phillips shot, knocked down by Clark. Byrne shot, rebound. Third chance by Lilly, trying to take it back. Byrne looking for another chance. Lilly, open shot. Grey Wolves trying to get this one cleared away, and they do. And that time, the first 2-3 shots got Robert Clark down. It's just the misfiring of the continuous shots right into his breadbasket, right inside the keeper. You have to be a little smarter, a little more finesse on those shot attempts. Harrison skates around with this one, pass back to Phillips. This is Lilly in the Grey Wolf end, lost control of the puck. And Jackson clears this one away. So Borges stops the puck. This is Shepard as the Grey Wolves kill off the penalty. Shepard taken away by Delano. Here come the Grey Wolves. Delano trying to make some magic happen. Third chance by Rossi, and is good. And the BGSU alum now has a hat trick on the day with 3:23 in the second period, courtesy of a Paul Delano shot. And it all starts with Dougie Shepard there that time. You're trying to get to the puck. Paul Delano jumps out of the gate from the hot box, comes back in, makes it happen, skating down, and then just takes that initial shot off a Borges, and then Michael Rossi in the right place at the right time. Back end, hits it back door. Delano looking for more as it's back to Castigliola and into the black ace end. This is Arden Robbins. Robbins biding some time. Shot fired and high. Rebounded by Dougie Shepard. This is Harrison. Black Ace is biding some time here. Now trailing 3-0 in our game of the week. As the pass is tipped away by Jackson, taken back by Harrison. Robbins. Shot knocked down by the Gray Wolves. From Bell, this is back over to Harrison. Robbins in the neutral zone. Gets it put back in the Gray Wolf end. Delano will take this one back. Steve Byrne on top. Delano gets around 2 players. This is into the black ace zone. Delano taking this one himself, looking for a shot. Chance, fires, hits off the left net. Oh, and that just goes to show you Delano has definitely have the skill sets, but when it comes to the shooting range today, just not on target. Oh, and that's got to be real unfortunate, and you can tell right now Delano doing everything he can to try to get himself on the stat sheet when it comes to goals scored. He already has an assist. It's just a matter of trying to score one for his team to try to solidify their lead. This puck comes all the way back to Pompos. Misses Castigliola as it gets back over to Harrison. Off the stick of Radigan. And this one heads all the way back into the Gray Wolf end for the icing call. .120 remains in the second period. 3-0 the score line in favor of the Gray Wolves. Yeah, and this is a situation now where you see the defense trying to do everything they can, but you look already with how the way the goals have been scored, you know, between Rossi's breakaway chance, second-hand efforts, you know, there's so much you can do, but right now, from what I can see, Angelo, this game clearly shows what happens when the Black Aces are without Wayne Webster and Hartley McDonald, which I can tell you already just by looking at this game, Angelo, if either one of those 2 players or both players show up, this is a different game completely. Bell just misses his pass to Lilly as it gets back to Phillips. Just off the stick of Rossi, trying to skate down quickly for possession. Rossi in the Black Ace end. Looking for the pass back up. DeMeza keeps it in the Black Ace zone as it's Lussman skating after this one for the Gray Wolves. Lussman's shot off to the right side. Good shot there as it's taken away by Robbins, batted down by his own teammate as it's Pompos who gets it out to DeMeza. Shot up far side. This is back around to Delano. And so with that, 2 periods in the books. And currently the Gray Wolves just 12 minutes away from heading back to the over 50 Cup playoffs. And for the Black Aces, a little bit of time left, but their season slowly starting to slip away here at the TGH Iceplex North Rink. We'll be back for more action as you're watching Over 50 Hockey's Game of the Week on the Pontello Broadcasting Network. And just before we start the third and final period, just a quick update on the current standings before the final game. Golden Knights clinched the regular season title with a 9-3 record on the Winter 2020 campaign. Blue Bombers, finishing with a 7-4-1 regular season record, will get the number 2 seed. Red Army finished the season at 6-6, and depending on what happens in this game, may drop to 4th or stay in 3rd, depending on how many penalties the Grey Wolves may get in this 3rd period. And then, of course, Green Hornets already eliminated and will not be participating in the Over 50 Cup playoffs for the first time since April of 2012. That's right, folks. We're talking years, not seasons, but it's been a little over 8 years now since the Green Hornets have last missed out on the Over 50 Cup playoffs. And so now, to officially make the picture clear, for want of a better word, this is an opportunity for the Black Aces to sneak in, and for the Grey Wolves trying to solidify the picture and get their place back in the Over 50 Cup playoffs. It all rides down here on the 3rd period. Scott Harrison makes a move around Falbo, is off into neutral zone. Radigan's shot fired, and this one gets knocked away. From Steve Byrne. Byrne looking for a shot chance, looking for options. Shepard trying to make magic happen, and it gets back over to Falbo instead, off the boards, just out of the reach of Castigliola. But he'll manage to get to it in the Black Ace end. Castigliola defended well by Harrison as it gets out to Jackson. Shot fired on net, taken away by Phillips. Phillips finds Radigan. Misfires the shot. Delano trying to take it away. And it gets back to Byrne to Radigan. Radigan trying to squeeze this one in. And so Delano giving a few shoves out to Radigan. And of course, Doug Radigan, not a fan of getting knocked off the puck. Yeah, in that time, Delano's just playing that defensive effort. The Buffalo native really playing hard here today and lots to fight for. But again, just in that situation, a couple of shoves out in the way, and Radigan didn't really appreciate the fact that he was getting knocked off the puck that much. DeMeza just out of the reach of Rossi, and it's coming back for an icing call. Yeah, and that's not the first time we've seen that happen this season. We've seen even in the past, just 2-on-1, 3-on-1 attempts, the Grey Wolves get a little bit greedy, anticipating Rossi's going to constantly break out with the speed and pick up on the puck. But it also comes down to the passing efforts as well. They really haven't been connecting that much all season, and there's times where they're able to get it successfully, but it's been a little bit of an Achilles heel for this Grey Wolf team. Had they have connected more on these passes, we might see more goals scored in their favor. And so once again, this puck will head back into the Grey Wolf zone. And it'll be Rossi and Steve Byrne once again on the face-off with 10-12 to go in regulation. Black Aces trail 3-0 as they now try to fight to keep their season alive. Puck taken away by Delano. And here comes Delano in the neutral zone. 2 defenders back for the Black Aces. Delano around Bell, skates around, shot fired, defended well by Borges. What a stop there by Stefan Borges. And just with that, he is headed down as well. We're not exactly sure if there's some aftermath, if he fell hard, or perhaps something we didn't see. Yeah, heading back into that play again. Delano just working against 2 Black Ace defenders, just gets around Greg Bell, but then it was just him versus Borges. And any time you deal with Paul Delano, even if it's a physical contact effort, you're not going to come away unscathed, and it's going to be a little bit of a moment where you have to get your wits about you. Nevertheless, though, a tremendous stop by Borges. to keep the Black Aces in this game. And so it looks like Borges will be okay and good to go. And meanwhile, officials trying to talk things over, trying to confer to see what might have potentially been involved. But I don't think anything that would warrant a penalty. Oh yeah, no, not at this stage. Paul Delano still trying to fight hard to the net, you know, trying to get his opportunities. Personally, I didn't see anything there that warrants even a penalty. From Rossi. This is Lussman, taken back by Radigan. Radigan taken away by Rossi again. Lussman trying to capitalize, defended well by two Black Ace defenders. Delano's shot fired. Rossi slips around for an open chance, defended well by Borges. Yeah, and that time trying to make an open hole into something that Borges just had covered down. There was plenty of net over on our right side that they could have shot off, but that time Borges had it down well. Grey Wolves looking for more as this is back to Delano. Shot fired on net just out to the right side. Byrne. Puck stopped by Pompos, who dumps it back in the Black Ace end. Lilly trying to contain Delano. Delano with an open chance. Shot fired, just hits the left post and into the net. And the Buffalo native has his first goal of the game. Yeah, we knew eventually Delano was going to get on that board from a goals perspective. It was just a matter of when. And that time, again, open opportunity, shakes off a couple of players here and there, and he finds just enough in that left side of the net. And so with a little over 8.5 remaining, Grey Wolves trying to solidify things here. And they are well on their way to solidifying that last spot in the Winter 2020 playoffs for over 50 hockey. As Bell finds Shepard, this is off to Steve Byrne. Byrne with lots of room as there's two defenders back for the Grey Wolves. Knocked away by Jackson, this is Castigliola. Can't connect with Falbo as this one comes back over to Bell. Falbo, this is Lussman. Well, shot just off to the left by Lussman. Taken away by the Black Aces. Now back to Pompos in the neutral zone. And so as the puck heads once again back in the visitors' bench, play halts at 7:54 in regulation. And the key thing at this point is, what are you going to do to even get yourself on the board? That's the first thing that the Black Aces need to ask themselves is, what are they going to do to continue chances? And ever since the second period and on, we haven't seen too much of Doug Radigan on that offensive side of things, as he's really been contained for the most part. He's had some chances already, Angelo, but, you know, in terms of really putting it in the net, he's been really shut down for the most part. And that just gives a lot of credit to this Grey Wolf team. And so DeMeza says bye-bye to that puck out of the rink as the play will reset. Pompos trying to get this one cleared back, stopped by Harrison. Puck just off to the right side. This is Arden Robbins. Off the feet of Jackson, now taken away by Pompos. Brian Pompos will take this one himself, now pass out to Rossi. Into the Black Ace zone again, has some open room, shot fired right into Borges for the save. So with 7:02 remaining, a little fun fact again for you, Clyde, and not sure if you might have been interested in this, partner, or not, but as we currently see the penalty minutes, Grey Wolves currently, as of right now, have 42 penalty minutes on the season. Red Army have 47. if we see a major here, that would tie everything up, and then the tiebreaker would go into how many goals we're giving up, in which the Red Army have the tiebreaker in that one. Well, not really sure we're going to be seeing the Grey Wolves pick up at least 5 more penalty minutes, especially considering they have this one in the bag. But I don't anticipate there being too much violence. I think it's just at this point, players know what's going to be happening result-wise, and it's just a matter of finishing off this game, because the Grey Wolves right now have just done a tremendous job offensively. Not the best performance we've seen in this entire Winter 2020 campaign, but they've done enough so far to keep themselves afloat, and enough goals that they're going to be able to come away with this victory. Mike Jackson's shot. Now taken away by Delano. Puck back around, and this is to Lilly in the neutral zone. Delano back to Castigliola. Castigliola's shot off to the left side as it's taken away by Radigan. This is Lilly. From the boards back, this is Castigliola. Lussman lost control of the puck. This is Shepard putting it back in the neutral zone. Delano now with possession again. Finds Castigliola. Getting back in the Black Ace zone again. 3 defenders back for the Black Aces as it gets off the skate of Lussman. And Shepard into the neutral zone, meets back to Delano. And so with that, play will halt, and offsides on the Grey Wolves will reset play. And really at this point, it's just a matter of what you're going to do to play for pride at this point. And, you know, we mentioned this before on the broadcast so far. We'll mention it again. You know, there's only so much you can do when you're without Brett Gargis, Hotley McDonald, Wayne Webster, you know, and they've really played a big part. But for this Black Ace team, that you're without your 5-ranked player for most of the season, and then Wayne Webster not being here for the critical moments, and then of course Hotley McDonald as well not being here, there's only so much you can do if you're the Black Aces. But other than that, you see how well they've been fighting so far, and you have to attribute how well of a job they've been doing in these final few weeks. Byrne try and get the puck away, and then the potential offsides, and yes, there's a and so with 4:50 remaining, a 4-0 lead for the Grey Wolves. This is back to Lussman again, who dumps it back into Black Ace end. Puck picked up by Radigan. Will take this one himself, working around Jackson just off of his back leg. Pass set back up, intended for Byrne. Radigan's shot is back. Delano regroups with the puck. Gets around a man and finds an open Rossi. Far side, Bell back for the Black Aces. Delano looking for Rossi, and this one gets passed off. Steve Byrne trying to get it away, and this one comes back to Robbins. Off the stick of Castigliola. Shot knocked down by Bourge. And Scott Harrison moves this one quickly back into the Grey Wolf zone. Harrison backhander, just off target. Steve Byrne trying to get a handle on the puck, now taken away by Lussman. Connects with Castigliola in the neutral zone, and here come the Grey Wolves. His shot fired, and Bourge falls down on this one for the save. Yeah, at first it looked like it could have been a little suspect there. Castigliola, a legitimate chance there, bouncing off of Bourge, and just Bourge wasn't even aware that the puck had dropped, but then it took a few extra seconds, and right there comes back on the puck. Just tremendous save. Time continuing to wind down as this one gets back over to Pompos. And this time, puck sucked in for the save by Borge again. Bell finds Lilly. This one gets around Lilly, trying to keep possession on the puck. And as he falls, gets it away. Set up by Burns, shot fired, knocked away by Clark. How did Steve Byrne made that shot happen? That might have been the most unrealistic goal setup chance we've ever seen in over 50 hockey history. But again, give a lot of credit to Lilly, who's just playing his heart out right now, keeping it alive. Phillips' pass intended for Lilly. Makes a nice move around Pompos, shot fired and saved by Clark. So 2:19 remains in regulation of the game, and the Grey Wolves officially starting to celebrate as they are just that much time away from heading back to the over 50 Cup playoffs. And so for the Black Aces now, it's just a matter of pride. See what you can do to try to get yourself on the board this time. You have a good chance again. You got Radigan and Steve Byrne back in the mix on the ice. Make a play, pass it to one another, see what happens. Radigan shot. Stopped by Clark again. So now in the final minutes, Robert Clark, who has given up the most goals so far in this winter 2020 season, trying to come away with his first career over 50 shutout. And there have been a couple of close opportunities for the Black Aces to put it in, but nevertheless, Clark has broken things down and made some great stops here today. As his pass is intercepted by Rossi. Makes a move around Bell, and he gets tripped up. But no call there by the officials. Well, I mean, at this point, technically, if the game was still really into the mix of things, that should have been a tripping call, but Ron Buckner and Dave Collins just letting things go at this point. And Clark, once again, falling on this puck. So it'll be Steve Byrne and Paul Delano on the faceoff as this gets back from Pompos. Stopped by Phillips. Harrison winding up for the shot, knocked away by Delano. Delano maintains possession with the puck. This one knocked back by Clark, and this one gets around to Pompos. Yeah, and that almost had disaster written all over that one. Delano trying to get this one high. This puck got knocked back by him and almost went into the net. Very dangerous there. Robbins looking for the finishing setup to Radigan. This one gets back to Phillips instead. Phillips around Castigliola, deflected by Rossi. Harrison trying to keep it in the zone. His pass connects with Steve Byrne. Stripped loose and taken away by Castigliola.
Connects with Rossi, and he's loose. Only the keeper to beat, and Rossi denied by Borge. 37 seconds remaining. Phillips will take it himself. He's back in his own zone, looking for options. Picked up by Bell. Now 30 seconds remain. Bell off the boards, looking for a Black Ace team member. Finds Radigan in the Grey Wolf zone. Radigan sets back up to Steve Byrne, shoots, and scores in the corner. And there will be no shutout for the Grey Wolves today. Steve Byrne finishing the Black Aces season on a high note with that goal.
Yeah, right there, Robert Clark did everything he could in the situation. Grey Wolves just put things on cruise control just a tad too much. And of course, once again, Radigan and Byrne do come away with some offensive opportunity. Excellent job there by the Black Aces. So referee Dave Collins will drop the puck for these two teams, and at this point they'll just play around with it. But 4-1 our current score line here, as this puck gets taken by Jackson, now flipped around to Steve Byrne looking for another chance. Now back to Radigan, shot fired, almost connected with Robbins. Arden Robbins sets it back the other way in the Grey Wolves zone. This one comes back to Radigan, shot fired and kicked away by Clark as time expires. And the Grey Wolves officially clinch their ticket to the Over 50 Cup playoffs. Well, congratulations to the Grey Wolves. Again, this was a much-needed victory in their must-win situation. And we see right now Mario Ochikovic, who also works with the rink as well, the infamous black bag, which in this case for this week, two teams will have to turn in their jerseys as it marks the end of their season. And of course for the Black Aces, they are one of those two teams other than the Grey Wolves earlier today. Or you mean the Green Hornets, their partner. Oh yes, the Green Hornets, Grey Wolves in it. Congratulations to them. So the Over 30 Cup bracket is all set. Gold Knights will take on the Red Army at 2 o'clock next week, as the Grey Wolves and Blue Bombers face off at 3:30. Games will both be here at the TGH Iceplex North Rink. But exciting times upcoming for the Over 50 Cup playoffs. And for Over 50 Cup 30, lots of exciting storylines to get to for the Grey Wolves, just finding their way to get into it. Black Aces were just that close. They've always been on the bottom feeding team, but they officially weren't eliminated till just moments ago. And that just goes to show you the exciting setup that we've seen all year in the Winter 2020 campaign. Well, with that, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to this broadcast. Of course, we have our TGH Iceplex Over 50 Hockey fan page you can follow on Facebook, as well as our media and other video archives on our YouTube channel on the Pontello Broadcasting Network. And then, of course, if you're always looking for stat standings or more, be sure to tune into the venue's website at www.tghiceplex.com. So for my co-partner Clyde Roberts, this is Angelo Pontello saying so long, good night. We hope everybody has a blessed week. Take care, everyone. We'll see you back here for the Over 50 Cup playoffs. Grey Wolves escape and clinch their spot with the 4-1 win today.